Ms. Green said we can.
The recording might be a little challenging, but we'll do our best to project our voices so you can hear us. And we're not yelling at you here in Jessie Mays, but I'm sure you understand. So anyhow, welcome to the North Plains City Council regular session meeting for Tuesday, September the 3rd at 7:02. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Lori, roll call.
Mayor Linehan,
Here.
Councilor Page,
Here. Oh, sorry.
Councilor Martinez, here, Councilor Sheldon,
Present.
and Councilors Kendall, Papen, and Smith are excused this evening.
All right. Yeah, things happen. So this evening on 5A and B, it's our consent agenda, and we have the approval of September 3rd regular session agenda, and we also have approval of the August 26th City Council minutes. Under
It should say underneath there that they'll be at the next meeting.
these minutes will be on September 16th agenda.
Yeah.
Sorry. So the consent agenda is just for this evening's agenda. Do I have first?
I'll move approval of the consent agenda for tonight, September 3rd, 2024.
All right, we have a first and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Hearing none, motion carried. Item number 6 is public comment. We have 2 people this evening that wish to speak on items not on the agenda. The first one I have is Swapnil Padvar? Giggle Grove Daycare.
Yep.
All right. Would you mind coming up?
Sure.
Just speak your name for the record and the city that you live in.
My name is
Okay.
Swapnil Bhattal. I'm here from Portland.
Okay. And feel free to have a seat. And what's on your mind?
Thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak in front of you guys. This is my first time for public speaking, so feel free to interrupt me if you have any questions or if something is not making sense. I've got a little bit of notes, I'm going to read from those. But yeah, feel free to interrupt me anytime. So this is about basically a daycare which we are planning to start with. Basically, on a Glencoe Road now place. Basically, the idea is that we're trying to establish a daycare which is sustainable, but also provides a much more quality care to what you have put it. This particular daycare will provide an essential service to our community, which is accessible and affordable, high quality childcare for our working families. And we are the daycare called Beagle Groups. We are doing this for the first time in this area. So our mission is very simple. We need to create a safe environment and nurturing environment and to our young children where there is kind of emotional, social, and interaction. We feel that in this particular community there is a essential gap of having sustainable or long-term healthcare options which really provide a quality. One of the reasons why having a quality care in this area can really help sustain the growth of this area, especially the young children, community members or young parents can, when they try to move in this area, they can find something which is near their home instead of going into reasons like this or sometimes bad. Right. We as a daycare are really committed to operate this daycare. It's also a preschool in full compliance with all applicable laws and regulations, and ensuring that we meet the highest standards of the safety and security of the student is always on the top key for us, and we are very well experienced and prepared to implement all necessary measures in order to ensure that we have a state-of-art security systems and rigorous staff training and background checks before we establish this. However, the reason I am here for is we face some significant challenges, especially with the cost, right, of developing and operating this facility in a low population area like this, right? And to help mitigate these challenges, I'm respectfully asking for some support here, you guys. First, we are asking for we are requesting a reduction in overall application processing time once we submit our plans. And because a faster process will help us open the doors sooner and respond more quickly to the need of the community. And also minimize the financial strain and of delays we typically face. A second request which we had was to ask for a waiver of the application fees associated with this project. Given the small population of North Plains, it's uncertain for us at this point of time that how many enrollments we will actually see in the first year. And by waiving these fees, it would really help us overcome some significant financial hurdles, enabling us to focus our resources on providing the best care for the kids. We believe that this daycare will offer a great benefit and enhance quality of life in North Plains and supporting our local economy and fostering a sense of community. With your support, we can make this vision a possibility. So that's my ask.
Have you talked to anyone at City Hall about
Yes.
your project?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've met Steve Miller.
Steve Miller,
And they very well explained us the process, and we have gone through creating the replies for some of the process steps which we have said. So we are right now in the middle of writing the plans. We are working with Bill and Baba here to help us get all the necessary process steps. We also has had what we call it as a community meeting, which asked us to ask all our neighbors in that particular area on the Glencoe Road to come and meet us, and if they have any objections or if they have any problems with respect to having this daycare open, we have gone through that process. We haven't heard anything so far.
Well, daycare sounds really interesting. I know that, I mean, obviously before we can make any kind of recommendation or determination, we would have to have a staff report and details on all of that information. Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. Where, I have an assumption of where you might be. Where are you proposing it at?
It's at Glencoe Road.
Do you have an address for that?
Yeah.
Is it in the old contour?
Yeah, it's 10150 Northwest Glencoe.
Okay, I know where it is.
On the east side of the road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long did this statement take my process to be set up?
So, our assumption, our understanding is anywhere between 90 to probably 120 days. Which is around, for us contractually, it's like 4 months without any income.
And you're asking to be done how fast?
As much as you can provide. I don't have any specific, I don't know what's possible for you guys or not, but they're asking.
And you have the staff in place to start running it?
I'm sorry?
School's about to start, people care about daycare, and
Yeah.
they always care about new kids and work.
Yeah.
I know when my children were before school age, we moved to North Plains because they had after-school care at the school.
Yeah.
So that was really nice to have. That was one of our requisites for having a place.
Yeah.
But my son's just born, he was not school age yet, so we had to pick out a spot for him to be.
Mhm.
We chose a place kind of close to work, but with the traffic, when work gets out, it's, even though it's across the street, they're about, I think it's 20 minutes to get there, to back out again.
Yeah.
Like things. Have a place close to your home,
Yeah,
it's kind of important, because you give it.
exactly. I think that's why.
Yeah. We're gonna be, as Terry said, we don't even know what we're talking about here, as far as cost goes and what you're asking for and time. Time sounds like something we could probably do, but I don't know about the staffs, that's come from, right out of the hat.
Yeah.
We don't know what the backlog is.
Yeah.
So please continue to work with Steve, we will ask Steve to, report back to us.
Yeah,
Thanks.
for sure.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks.
Next up, I have Cynthia Hurst.
You had a shout.
Good evening, Mayor and councilors. Tonight I'm wearing my chamber hat. On tomorrow evening, the Economic Development Commission is meeting, and the Chamber Board is also meeting with them. And we are going to come up with a plan that we will be visiting all of the businesses in North Plains and talking with them about things that are good, things that are bad. And so I'm sure you'll be seeing that come from the Economic Development Commission. So just wanted to let you know about that. Remind you that Saturday, September 7th, this coming Saturday from 1 to 2:30 is the Pacific Dog Park opening and ribbon cutting. And I want to take this opportunity to say that Jewett Cameron has really stepped up to make sure that this happens. They have provided the fencing and the gates, and they're also providing the signage. They are also willing, as I understand it, to replace the dog waste bags, and not only in that dispenser, but the other ones all around town on a regular basis. So we have them to thank for all of that. I also just want to recognize Jack Pittner, who's the Eagle Scout candidate. This is his project as well. He's been helping staff put all of that together, the fencing. And I guess some of his fellow troops, Troop 605 fellow scouts are helping as well. So they will all be there and we'll recognize them as well. Just want to remind you about that. Last week, I spoke with Mr. Drake about the Public Works building, and I guess it's getting sort of close. We're talking a couple months maybe. I just want to bring up to you to bring it kind of on your radar that we do, the chamber wants to do a ribbon cutting, grand opening, but I think also we need to do something for the public to be able to come in and tour the building and see what it's all about. So I'm going to be working with Mr. Drake on this and with the chamber board. So we'll make that happen whenever it's ready to go. The last thing is, if you have been watching the murals that are down on Oregon Canadians building, Allison McClay is almost finished. There's just a few blank places there. I'm in conversation with Oregon Canadian, and they want to do a very public party when those are finished. And I don't know what that looks like yet from their end. And of course, the chamber would participate. But also, I wanted to find out if the city could participate in some way. I don't know if you've got any money in your budget to help something like that, or if we need to go to the North Plains Events Association. We're talking about a big party. Bring everybody down, let them see, let them talk to the artists, let them find out what it's all about. So that's kind of my request, that the city can participate in any way, plus financially, that would be a great help.
Okay,
That's all I had.
all right, well, thank you for the updates, I really appreciate that, and I'm sure you'll see a few of us this Saturday.
Yeah,
for
I
sure.
hope so. Dog treats, bring your dogs.
All right, thank you, Cindy.
about the Eagle Scout project. I'm a Eagle Scout. I think the scouting organization is really great to teach leadership to kids. Not for kids, but adults around, right? When I did my Eagle Scouts back in 1990, I'm kind of old. What it was we built got public land. We got the community involved, and everybody to donate time to build a playground for a Head Start preschool. Is to get kids that give them a head start, people that are from the lower income, to have a chance to go to school early, to kind of get a head start on it. And it's quite a bit of a challenge for somebody that hasn't had a chance to do this yet, kids that are 17, 16 years old, to do this. So the Eagle Scout thing is kind of a big deal. I seen on Facebook some people are throwing rocks at it. Fun to throw rocks, but remember, these people that you're throwing rocks at are the future, you know? Don't get them started off that way. We had a thing, I worked that day, that time. I'm gonna cut out some time to actually do it with the dogs and shake this guy's hand. I just want to put it out there. You guys have a chance to go to the Eagle Scout project and, you know, pat the kid on the shoulder and say, good job. It means a lot, not only to him, but for everybody watching. So please make some time to get in there. Thanks.
Thanks, Councilor Page. It looks like we might have someone online for public comment. If you could just unmute yourself, Travis, state your name and the city you live in for the record.
Yeah, so Travis Robichaud, live within North Plains off of 291st. So this wasn't actually related to what you guys were talking about. I was just waiting in line. Are you guys already done talking?
We're still in public comment. Do you have something that you'd like to share that's not related to the agenda?
Yeah, so this actually, I was looking at the agenda and from my understanding, and Bill Reed, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, was Ziply on the discussion for today to, or was Ziply Fiber on today's agenda to discuss potential of expanding to North Plains?
Hi, Travis. No, the issue before the city in working out a potential new ordinance that council has discussed before, but isn't ready to come before full ordinance for a new franchise fee licensing system is not on the agenda this evening. So that's going to be a topic. When it does come before city council, it'll be a hearing, but that is not on the agenda this evening.
Okay, is there an expected date on that, or has that been postponed because of the disagreements?
We're still working on fine tuning that so that we basically can come back to council with the licensing agreement system that they understood we would be coming back to them with. And that will take a little bit more time, but we do not have a specific date for that quite yet.
Okay. I guess my last question is has there been any decision? Has anyone had a set in stone answer to where they're saying, no, it's not going to happen? Or is this something where you guys are still working on it? And you're going to come up with a solution for this?
Well, I think there are two different issues going on here, Travis, and on the top, really the topic before council sooner rather than later. And first, regarding any potential new private utility that might come to town, the city is considering and is looking into adopting a new franchise agreement licensing system like other cities in the Portland metro region. And that would have to come first. And then any potential new private utility that would like to come to North Plains, that would be the system in which they operate. So there's different moving parts here, and the wires shouldn't be crossed on them, so to speak.
Okay, I guess my issue being with the franchise agreement, within that franchise agreement or the proposed franchise agreement, that is what holds the taxation for internet related products, correct?
Travis, I don't know that there's any, I don't know the comment at this point because council has seen what the system, if it's implemented by council, it's going to have a fee system that is consistent basically with what we currently have and is consistent with state regulation. I mean, the industry is highly regulated. So I don't have any, comment or speculation or anything about any differences at this point. But like I said, the first thing that would come before council is a new licensing system that basically simplifies the process of a new utility coming to town.
Okay. I mean, the franchise agreement or the process, the permitting process that you had spoke about sounds like it'd be a fantastic idea. But the only issue being is that with the franchise agreement potentially going through and what's within that, that goes against what the state has set back October 6th of 2001. So my only concern is that we're going to keep on running into a roadblock to have that go forward. But essentially local governments are not allowed to impose or assess, collect tax, or try to collect any taxes on internet access or its usage. If such a tax was not already in place, like I said here, October 6th, 2001, then moving forward, it is against state law to create a taxation on that, because what that would result in is a ripple effect across the entire state. And that would be affected for not just Ziply, that would be affected for Comcast, for Wave, for Astound, they would have to change that law for the entire state. So we're going to keep running into a roadblock. We should have been here already and we should have been working on this. I mean, my bill alone right now is almost $200. I just paid a $284 bill for internet only. And there's no taxation on the Xfinity bill. My neighbor, Nikesh, same thing. I've spoken with a lot of the community. As I'm sure you guys have seen, I started a petition to get the ball rolling on this, and everyone has the exact same complaints. They're all paying triple or double the amount of what everyone else is paying in the rest of the state. But it's because Comcast is a monopoly here. And quite frankly, as a resident, I'm tired of paying a car payment for internet. It's wild. I just ask that this becomes a focus, because it's not just my bank account that's essentially being drained by Comcast. It's a lot of the locals. People have gotten so fed up that they have purchased hotspots from T-Mobile and Verizon because they don't want to pay for how expensive Xfinity is. We're essentially being robbed by them. And all I ask is that you guys consider Ziply moving forward. I just want to look out for the community that I live in. This isn't from a business standpoint. This is just, it's insane. It's a service that's out constantly, that's not reliable. And they do not give you any more contracted deals after the first one. I've already tried. Yeah.
Hey Travis, this is the mayor speaking.
Yeah.
So I just want to interject here.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? And again, as Bill said, we still need to follow up and take this up down the road. So it's a topic that is still on our whiteboard to-do list.
Okay.
So you need to just keep an eye on the agenda or email
Okay.
Bill. He'll let you know when this is on the agenda. And then you can come in and have a conversation.
Yeah. I mean,
We
the
know
only
that we have to move on, and I hear what you're saying, and I respect that, but it's not on our agenda this evening, and it is on our whiteboard, meaning that we do need to talk about it. And when we do talk about it, then we'd love for you to come into Jessie Mays and sit here with us and have a conversation with us about that and more details, okay?
Right. Yeah. I mean, from my understanding, and I could be mistaken, it was supposed to be today. So that's the only deal. That's the only reason why I'm here. So, but yeah, sounds good.
All right. Thank you.
No problem.
Anyone else that you can see?
Nope, no more hands up. No more hands up, Mayor.
All right. Anyone else here in the hall? All right, we'll move on to our resolution 7A, the resolution 2277, amending the IGA with Washington County Transit. Turn this over. Is Rowan with us?
Yes, I'm online.
Oh, okay. Hi.
Good evening, Mayor and councilors. I hope you're all having a good evening. This is a pretty simple amendment to our current Washington County IGA that we are in agreement with to facilitate the improvement of our transit stops in North Plains. We entered into this agreement last year with Washington County, and the project has grown. So last year's project, which was just completed in June of this year, has completed a suite of improvements to our 2 bus stops. Washington County identified an additional bus stop location in North Plains at North and 313th. And this amendment basically allows them to put in some signage there. It will amend the term of the agreement to reflect the fact that we're doing another little bump to the project. It adds about a year to the agreement, and it adds in a procedure for extending the agreement in 10 years' time if we so choose. Other than that, this is really just a change to a couple words and pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, please let me know.
Also, do you have any questions for Rowan? Council doesn't have any questions, Rowan. So what say the council?
I'll move to adopt resolution number 2277, approving the amendments to the 2023 intergovernmental agreement with Washington County for the public transportation improvements.
Second. All right, we have a first by Councilor Sheldon, seconded by Councilor Martinez. Any further discussion? I just want to make note that it is listed definitely in our transportation plan that there were that stop on North Avenue was definitely in our TSP, and I also believe there might even maybe have been a potential future transit stop along West Union as well. So I'm glad we're getting this updated. Thank you, Rowan, for doing that, and that's all I have to say. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, council.
All right, unfinished business this evening is the UGB amendment relook proposed approach. And I'm going to turn this over to Rob Drake.
Thank you, Mayor, councilors. Good evening, and I'm going to give you a very brief summary of what was in the agenda packet. The proposed process for the relook committee, and we're just about completed on getting members of the committee, but anyone listening who's a resident of North Plains, please consider applying for the committee. There are applications on the city website. And we, I think, need about these 4 applications completed to finish the committee. And we welcome those applications. We'll bring the committee membership back on the meeting of September 16th. And with us tonight, too, is Steve Faust, who is with 3J Consulting. And for the council, if you have questions, either he or I can answer. Steve is we work together on the draft program, and this is what we're recommending to the council. And basically what this would be is a series of meetings where the relook committee and basically the general information committee would take testimony, would explain what was done at the relook committee, and provide information to folks and take information. Anyone has ideas or comments, or they want to provide input to the committee, you can. And we welcome anyone attending these meetings so that you can hear what's going on. You can ask questions. And if we can't answer questions on that given night, we'll get answers back, and it would be to anybody who's participated, but the idea is if you had questions and we couldn't give you answers at the time, we'll get them back to the public so you're well informed and you can participate. And if you're shy, you can submit written testimony or questions and we'll be happy to answer them. We won't answer questions like what is the meaning of life or et cetera, but the important questions related to relook, we'd be happy to do that and have this community discussion. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions or Steve answer questions if he's better suited to answering them.
Steve, do you want to come up in case we have some questions here? Just state your name for the record, the city that you live in.
Yep, Steve Faust with 3J Consulting, which is located in Beaverton. I live in Portland.
All right, great, thank you. You know, I like the memorandum that you put out. I think it's pretty clear, right? And I like that. I think it's just very clear and very direct, and it shows the intent of the relook process. I like the fact that you are reviewing it after each meeting and then updating the FAQs, like the frequently asked questions, right? Because as this process goes on, we might have questions and then, you know, more and then more and then more. And I think it's really important to be able to show the questions, the answers, and have that available to folks in different forms, you know, email or, you know, on the website. And so I think I really want to, you know, want to stress, really strongly, you know, stress that the website is going to be the go-to place. Like that web page will be the go-to place for folks to get the details and the data if they can't attend. That's my understanding from this document, this memorandum. Is that correct?
Yes, Mayor Monahan, that's correct. You know, there will be alternatives, reaching out to city staff or myself, but the website will be an easy one-stop shop for all the information that we gather throughout the process. And as you said, we propose, you know, just to be as transparent as possible, so that FAQ will be a living document where we'll start with all the questions that I and staff can come up with right now. We'll bring that to the committee. They'll have more questions. We'll just continue to build that document so we have it there for anyone to access.
And then how about recording of the meetings?
We certainly can record the meetings. I mean, just like we did with the advisory committee previously. I believe all those meetings were recorded as well. And talking to Mr. Drake, we also will build in some sort of public comment into not, you know, there's 3 large broad public meetings that are proposed, and of course, there'll be lots of opportunity to comment there. That's the entire purpose. But we also can build in some public comment periods into the relook advisory committee meetings as well.
Where will those comments end? With 3J, like, I think under 1.2, the UGB expansion relook website says a tool for, that you'll also have a tool for providing comments, right? And so is that going to be like a tool on the website where people can comment through the website and then 3J collects that data, or does the city collect that data?
Correct. We'll have to work out the details with how your website works, but yeah, either way, we're happy, you know, whether it's city staff or it's us, those will be collected and added to the public record, again, posted to the website. If there are comments, we'll put them on as comments. If there are questions, we'll try to answer them and add them to the FAQ.
Okay. Council?
I'm always worried about cost. Time is money. You're not free. We are, but you're not. And there's a lot of expense in having things drawn out, like, oh, let's talk about things more. I'd like to have a structure, but moving forward, to have this to be closed, having the bill, you know, the taxi meter keep on running for this is expensive. So this is an administrative thing. I just want to make sure that we're not speaking of the shipment costs. So, I'd like to have a process, to have the process time bound, almost like a Gantt chart. Here, we're gonna do something better, we have X amount of time, X amount of time, and X amount of time. I don't want this to be something that's gonna cost a lot of money. So, do we have a timeline for this?
Mayor and Counselor, may I answer that,
Yes.
Counselor, for you? Fortunately, the results of early work prior to my arrival, the city was granted money from ODOT and DLCD for the work that was done previously, but the money was not dispersed. And staff and I have been working in earnest, including Mr. Faust has had a hand in this. We basically jokingly loaded a bus and talked to both ODOT and DLCD and anyone who would talk to us. And through really good joint cooperation and discussions with ODOT, the money has been released. The mayor has signed the contract, and not that we're eyeballing X number of dollars and this is what we'll spend, but the money is there to back up the work that you're talking about. It's a great question and has been weighing on us because initially we couldn't get an answer about is it going to be released, is it not? And collectively, we just started working folks that can make decisions or get us to people who can make decisions. And we were able to unlock the puzzle, and ODOT and DLCD are very supportive of this study and want to help.
How much are we talking?
233, as I recall.
233,000.
Okay, so we have enough budget where it's not gonna hurt us too
No.
badly.
It shouldn't.
Okay, thank you.
So Counselor Sheldon?
Yeah, mine's technical, but for the record, on the second page of the memorandum, on the last sentence, you frame up the vote on the referendum. And this number of 72% is being used by everybody. Actually, only 56% of the electorate participated in the election or in essence, a vote on the referendum. And only 44% of those, which was the majority, or roughly 44%, I don't have the exact calculation, said yes. The opposite happened on the no end. So no was 44. And so the outcome of that referendum is not framed in my mind correctly, because 44% of the electorate did not participate in that election, which could be construed as a tacit approval. They had either no reservations or objections or didn't care to vote at all. So I get mixed up in the numbers a little bit, but I want it clear on the record that what the electorate was and how many people actually voted and participated in that election compared to what the electorate is. And I know it's maybe minuscule, but to me, it's a public document, it's a public record. I want to correct it and reframe so it states that. The rest of it, I think is fine. I've been over it 3 or 4 times. I don't have problems with the plan. The plan's a good plan. It's as good as it's going to get. And it has a mechanism, if we need more time, to extend it. So I think that's as fair as we need to be in terms of where we've been at on this subject for years. And I don't think we need to belabor that point. I'm all about the additional participation. I don't have any objection or reservation about that. But I do about the statement that I think is being misused, that 72% of the electorate said no to the UGB. That is not a factual statement. And I'll refute it, and I will refute it because I'm running for mayor. And that's just not accurate information.
Thank you very.
That's my only question.
Thank you very much, Council President Sheldon. I did do research on this and I tried to be accurate, but it's very possible that I'm not. I tried to list the number of people who voted But maybe I got those numbers wrong. I tried to, I tried to say 72% of the people who voted.
Got it.
But I may have gotten that number wrong, so we'll definitely go back and really double down and make sure, and we can present the numbers in the way that
Well, I
you
just
stated them
want
as
to
well.
present it, I want it presented on a factual basis.
Understood.
I don't, in rumors are insidious. Misinformation is not a good thing. We have people trying to make decisions about what they want to do, and they're the ones that get to decide. But 72% of the electorate did not say no to the UGB. That is an inaccurate statement, and I don't want us publishing that.
Understood.
Where is it being published exactly? Which website?
No, he's talking about his own.
It's being published in our document.
It's in the memo, it's in the
So
memorandum.
it's not accessible to the public?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's in the packet.
It's
On the
in the
website.
agenda packet?
It's in the
Yes.
agenda packet,
Yes.
in the second page of the report that was made by Steve. And, I just want the record clear. That's all I'm asking for.
Understood.
Councilor Page.
Whenever, the reason why it's not up for vote is because do you want more neighbors? No, that's what, then you could use any kind of argument, oh, the spotted owls or pollution, or you've got anything you could hang on to, that's just arguing that the real thing is you want more neighbors. And I'm eager to have this, UGB handled well, to fill the city out, to be self-supporting. I'm not too worried about the decision for it to be up for a vote is not really a thing anymore. This happened. I'm glad we have a chance to really get something to get some more people involved, so people can be happier and more people can understand that things are being done to them. It's just something that has to happen. That to us, which is happening is going, I'm glad to have a better policy. The numbers, whenever it's votes, do you want to have a neighbor? Yes or no? No. That's gonna be an easy. That you could draw anything you want to like. You can use anything you want for an argument, but the real issue is you want to have more people around, and that's what I now. I want to be able to look at this like we have to build the city, we have to have more land around that's Washington County. How do you want it to look going forward? Is going to be the main thing I want to look at. So we get caught in the straw. We're getting caught in the meniscus, and we know. But the overall, how do we want the city to look going forward? Do we want to have, what kind of tax revenue do we want to have? We do really small, we have houses. Everywhere lives in these small houses. You go bigger, you get to plan out how it wants to look. And that's kind of moving forward, it's kind of what we want to do is how do you want to look going forward, right?
Yeah.
So.
Before, I just want to double check. I want to see if Councilor Martinez, do you have anything?
I really liked it. I thought it was very clear. I like how each point has a description on it. So I thought it was a great layout to get everything going for it.
Councilor Sheldon.
Not related to the report, so you're off the hook now. Mr. Reed, the question that I've been asked, and I'm not sure I can answer, is when does the application process close?
Council Sheldon, the application process is officially closed.
Okay, it is closed.
It is, but
But
we have some volunteer seats that did not, of particular types, that did not get enough applications. So over the next 2 weeks, we will be pushing for more of those types of applications to come in so that we can fill out those remaining seats. So a lot of them are filled, but maybe people were just going on vacation in August, who knows?
Well, that was going to be my next question, was where do we go from here? Like, what's the next step from here? Because this memorandum is it's just a FYI. There's no action. We don't have to take a vote on this. It sounds like we have basically consensus that it looks good and presented well with some changes. But if you or Bill could speak to us and the community on next steps and what those expectations might look like.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I think it might be a team effort on this one. Rob and Steve might want to comment a bit. What I can say from my perspective is that over the next 2 weeks, we want to confirm all names that are filling the seats in the expanded Project Relook Advisory Committee. The goal, and maybe Rob or Steve can speak to it a bit more specifically, but the goal is to be able to start the process with a full committee, names announced, all of that by the end of this month. And so that's our end goal is for this month the process to start officially.
Okay.
With that committee fully filled.
Rob, did you have anything to add?
I didn't, Mayor. Thank you. I think that is well said. We need to refine and define the dates. We have some other things competing with the specific dates, and we should know by week's end the dates we'd recommend.
Okay. Anything from you, Steve? No? All right. Well, thank you. So, what would that update or relook or update look like for us based on Councilor Sheldon's input for a correction? Would you just make that correction and email that to staff and then they'll just disseminate it?
Exactly. I think we just need to, I just will want to run it by Bill and Rob to make sure that I'm stating things correctly and we can get that cleaned up.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. All right, next on our agenda is the TDT Bancroft installment agreement. Bob?
Actually, Mayor Bill's going to.
He's gonna take it? Okay.
Sorry, I keep reaching for the microphone. Sorry.
I know.
Sharing an office with Lori. Yeah, jump, how high, you know. Okay, so the issue before you now on the agenda is a few months back, I believe in June, we came before you and just kind of gave you information about a draft transportation development tax Bancroft financing agreement that the development that's currently occurring on West Union Road, the 210, I believe, 1,000 square foot industrial building on property that originally was owned by Far West Recycling Company, but there's been a transaction and the project is now under construction on the 10 acres closest, 10 acres of the 20 acres, but the 10 acres closest to West Union Road. And so that's a project that's very visible as you drive down West Union. So this is just an update to say that and it's in the agenda packet, but we're at the point where we're ready to just go ahead and execute the agreement for the transportation development tax to be paid over the course of seven years in Amherst. It's over $1 million. I think it'll be the single largest transportation development tax fee that's been paid to the city. But it's going to, because it's being financed over a 7-year period at an interest rate of about 5.3%, the city's going to earn upwards of $230,000 in interest over the 7-year period, standard amortization. And so this is just to say the agreement is ready to be executed. Interim city manager Rob Drake would be doing that. We're not spending any money, so there's no need for a city council resolution or anything along those lines. It's an agreement that's consistent with county ordinance that allows this sort of agreement to happen. We just want to let you know we're at that point. What I will say is that Mr. Mike Wells has zoomed into the meeting. He's president of Stratus Development. His company is the one that has worked with Far West Recycling through this process and is continuing to work on the entitlement process, development process for this. And I believe maybe he stepped away from the mic, but he's on and was happy to kind of join if there were any questions, that sort of thing.
I have a question for you, Bill.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's a very large payment. So because of that, they want to break it up over 7 years and make it biannual payments. So you have a total of 14. The amortization schedule is gonna be, the finance charge, which gets paid to us, which is nice, so less paid interest, we can check interest.
Right.
I love that. But that's $230,000, pretty much $231,000, just round up, $18 or $17, round up. So it's $231,000. What is the cost for us? Do we have to lay out any money for this? Or we would have to take a loan out or something else in order to make this happen? Or just pure payment to us without any kind of outcosting? That's going to cost us money.
No, thank you, Councilor Phage. Good question. So this is, even though it's an amortized installment plan it's a development fee. And for the city, it's pure revenue. There's no cost to us really here, other than staff time working out the agreement, having Chris look at the agreement, that sort of thing. That's the only cost to the city. It's revenue in, it's interest earned on that revenue. It enables future capital projects that would qualify under the county transportation development tax criteria. So it's pure revenue that comes in the bank. And when the time comes for the city to begin a new capital project that qualifies for the TDT, that's when we would spend it. But until that time, it's all pure revenue plus interest.
So do we have any projects that are taking capital now that we said $1 million for, that we take the loans out on? Or is this something that's, do we have any use for this?
It's a deferred instrument.
True, this is deferred. However, if you click it now, what can we use that on now versus waiting 7 years?
Councilor Page, great question. The roundabout at Glencoe and West Union continues to be a moderate tier priority for the county to put money into.
Right.
That will change over time, and this will be a major part of the city's share of that, is generally the idea. We do have other projects that are in the capital improvement plan that include TDT as a revenue source identified for it. But this one major significant installment plan paid amount will go a long way towards what the city has to kick in for the roundabout when it happens, among other things. But that's kind of a very visible one.
Can it just be used for anything else besides capital improvements?
No, sir.
The restricted funds.
They are restricted. Yeah, it's a capital fund revenue, so capital expenditures out only.
So this interest will be going to the capital expenditure bucket for what?
For any capital facility, any transportation improvement that qualifies under the county's TDT criteria. So
For transportation funds.
yes, sir, it does.
And would we be able to look at those through the capital improvement plan? I mean, the CIP that's on, we could look at that. We could look at that list. Right,
Absolutely.
on the CIP.
You all done.
Yeah, I know, but I just,
Yeah.
we know what we're talking about, but I want to make sure that folks listening understand
Yeah.
that it's not just a document floating out
Yeah.
there in the world. Like, it is actually on our website, and we can look at what our capital improvement plan looks like.
Yes.
Okay, Rob.
Thank you, Mayor. In case people don't remember or know, this funding mechanism was approved by voters countywide, and I believe in 2008, but my memory may be failing me, but this was approved countywide.
So this cannot be used for a police officer. It has to be used for transportation.
That's an operating expense, so we cannot use it for that. Correct.
Okay.
So if I might, Mike Wells is on. I see his face up there. And so if you have any kind of, this is his, I think, first time speaking to this topic here, and welcome, Mike. Thank you for joining us this evening.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Hi, this is the mayor. Nice to meet you virtually. Certainly appreciate you coming to our meeting this evening. I don't have any pressing questions. I know that we've been through this here at council before, but we certainly look forward to your partnership here in the community, and hopefully one day you can come into council and meet us face to face.
Yeah, I'd like to do that. Thanks for the greeting. We've had a very good interaction with city staff as well as the planning commission, which we did appear before in approval of our project, of course, months ago. The coordination of permitting through the county under contract to the city has actually gone pretty well. We've had some other experiences with smaller jurisdictions that contract out to a county and it's real clunky coordination between the two. But this has gone smoothly and happy to have this development underway. As Bill referred to, Far West sold this parcel once we achieved the stage of getting our permits to a real estate investment trust, so-called REIT, named Stag Industrial. They're out of Boston and invest nationwide and have, I believe, 7 properties they own in Oregon. This is the first one in North Plains. I think the next closest is in Beaverton. And so they've, over the last 5 years, worked hard to acquire properties in Oregon, and they really like the Portland metro area. They looked real favorably upon North Plains in its close proximity to all of the semiconductor industry in Hillsborough and surrounding communities in Washington County. They typically hold their properties very long term, as opposed to some institutional owners who get the things built and then sell them to another investor. So we expect Stag will be here for the long haul. They did make a trip out from Boston and asked specifically to meet with city staff, and that was early on in the project, and it came away favorably impressed with how things have gone. So they're really happy and to be here, and we're glad as a local company to be their local eyes and ears on the ground.
Council, anyone questions or comments for Mike? For this, again, thank you very much, Mike. Look forward to meeting you. This is not an actionable item on the agenda, just more an FYI, and to bring us up to date in the financing agreement. So thank you, Bill. Appreciate it. And if there are no further questions, I'll move on to this.
It appears, and I haven't done the math, but it looks like I'm rereading this. I was through it, but it looks like it's amortized in advance. So the first payment's due 6 months thereafter, and every 6 months thereafter that. Correct. Okay, thank you.
Do we have a dates for these? Are these in August and February, or what months do these set?
Council Page, we have not set the months yet. That will be done at execution. So that'll be the very next thing.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill. All right. All right, next up we have city manager report.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Several things tonight for you. A great deal of staff time has been spent on the relook process and will continue to be, but we think we have the right direction, and council seems to be supportive. So thank you on that. We've been busy also with the city manager search, and I think the public can and should know there were actually 23 applications for city manager, which is a nice turnout for a community this size. And the consultant has narrowed it to actually 9 people that they believe can be tracked through to the next level. It'd probably be 4 or 5. And we'll be planning an executive session, hopefully next week, with council to look at the resumes and to give us general direction about what you think about the candidates. And then we'll go through a process that we bring back to you that would include inviting the public in for maybe a social hour with the finalists, also a meeting with the city council, meeting city staff separately, and involving collectively, the community will have at least one look at the candidates, maybe more, depending on what it will be. But we want to be sure people can shake their hands, and we'll have a set of questions that we would ask the same questions of all the candidates, and give the public a good look. And part of that day would be spent on a tour of the community. It's a gloss over. I've gone through those, but it gives the candidates a good idea of what they're going to manage, and who they'll be working for, and what the challenges of the community are. But I've been really pleased with Rothman's work so far. The person leading the search with us is a retired city manager who spent his career managing cities in Washington, and we're syncing really well with him. So I look forward to the process.
Maybe my internal clock is going really quick here, but somebody's looking for a job. You know, I know cities don't work fast, but meet with them and narrow it down and meet the city and meet the council and go on the tour. How are these guys going to get employed that are looking? Hopefully they're currently employed and just looking for another opportunities. Of us waiting around to pay a mortgage, I don't think I'd wait around for the city to do the slow roll for that long.
Well, Councilor Page, in talking with the consultant today, he said that I'll know a number of the applicants, which means they're probably local folks, either in the metro area, up in the valley, or somewhere in the state. And I've been serving as a city manager for 30 years, so I've made a lot of contact, but that gives me some confidence that I'll have some insider information about people. And this is definitely your decision, but I'll be happy to give you my thoughts on people and be fair about it.
Yeah, I just wondering how long, if I was the application, the person applying for the job, I said like, yeah, 3 months we'll get back to you. You know, like I gotta eat, you know, so I'll be,
Right.
you know, worried about that too.
A number of them continue to work, and they aspire to a different community, or if you've been an assistant city manager somewhere, have gotten a lot of experience, this would be a prime community, because the size, you can go out, meet people, look at problem solve personally. I mean, the council president brought something to my attention a few months ago after I first came, and I went out and saw the project, talked with the public works director, and got signs ordered, and it was the right thing to do at that spot. And it's harder to do when you manage a big city. I mean, there's so much more coming at you, but things are very personal here too, and you can meet people face to face and get a chance to get back to them, and much easier than trying to get across Beaverton or Eugene or even Hillsborough, the way it's grown. And some aren't employed, I've experienced, but most have a current job, or they've been there long enough and they want a new challenge.
Okay, so we're not wasting the clock, somebody like, you know, hey.
Yeah,
I'm out,
yeah.
right?
It's not all dire for every applicant, for sure.
And most applicants are people that are currently employed and working in this business.
That's a much safer way to be able to do it, unless there was an event happening or something that caused them leaving, or it's not uncommon that councils can change and senior management changes, or somebody just has a run-in with elected officials, and you serve at the pleasure of your council.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the realities, and whether you work for a high-tech company or some other company, fortunately, most people do well and stay employed, but sometimes things just go sideways.
Any comments, questions? Martinez?
No.
All right, let's see, council reports. I think you had library board
Yep, I
recently.
attended the library board. That was last week. Had a good meeting with the library board. And I did get to, well, be fully introduced to Emily West. We're able to bring on board full-time for a variety of reasons, because she's very talented. It's good to have her on board, and she got to actually send her appreciation to me, which I want to convey to the council for us making that decision to allow that movement. And because it didn't impact the budget, and we're allowed to really grab some talent that we might otherwise lose. So she was very thankful for that. Wanted to convey her thanks to the council, and that at some point she'll get a chance to come in front of us. But you know, other than that, we looked at their budget. Everything is on track. They're actually below budget for the most part, and they don't have any real brewing problems. They've had a little decline in some of the attendance or the number of patrons, but it's nothing that's a trend by any means. So along those lines, that's pretty much the bulk of that committee meeting. So,
Okay.
or board meeting, excuse me.
Okay. Any other council reports?
It's really nice to be able to promote people internally up the ladder. It's really nice to give them a chance to grow and have their career expand here in a small town. Sometimes in a small town, you're at a job and you're stuck, because that's what they have. It's nice to have that community. I'll be doing the economic development commission tomorrow. So if anybody wants to bring anything up for me, I could pass it on.
All right, and then it looks like you've got Parks, Councilor Sheldon, Councilor Kindles with Planning Commission, and then I'm with Library Board. The last part of August was pretty quiet as far as my meetings are concerned, but I do have a pretty full agenda starting in September. Everything's back at full bore, so it'll be a busy month. And that's all I have to report at this point.
And Commissioner Willie will be at the next meeting.
Oh,
The
thank
next
you.
council
You
meeting.
did confirm that. Okay,
Yes.
you did confirm that.
Yes.
Okay. I had asked her about that today, because it was on the, on our list. And I thought, wait a minute.
Yeah, and I hadn't heard, I usually hear from his assistant, but I believe City Manager Drake spoke to someone, so,
Perfect.
yeah.
Yeah, so, and,
Next.
so Commissioner Willie, comes to council, a couple times a year and gives us an update on what the county is doing. He's our commissioner, and so, if you have burning questions or comments that you'd like to share with Commissioner Willie when he's here on the 16th, feel free to come and bring your questions and or comments, because he's fair game. So, but it's always nice to have him, because it's always nice to hear what the county is doing, and it's important that he hears from us too, because we are his constituents, so. All right.
The Family Justice Center has an opening on their board for a CPA. We have a CPA, and want to volunteer your time, there's an opening for you.
Good, good to know. All right, anything else, staff? All right, I'll go ahead and close our meeting at 8:11.